Hello fans of Marvel Heroes, this is a video guide on Runewords and Uru-forged as requested by some of you, and I think it's quite a good guide for the new players as well, because if you are new to this game, first of all, welcome on board, and you may be a little bit overwhelmed with the number of Runewords we have, Uru-forged we have, or runes that we have, so this video address all that, right? So also this video talk a little bit about gearing strategy for any heroes that you may have, so it may benefit you when it comes to gearing for rings, for legendary, and so on and so forth. So once you get a concept right, be it as Uru-forged or Runewords or anything else, it is applicable. So I'm hoping to help in that way, right? So when it comes to Uru-forged, there's actually a slot called Uru-forged slot here. If you level your hero beyond 25, this will become available for you. So now there are altogether two tiers of Uru-forged. So one is for leveling, grade 25. Level 25 up, you can use it. Another one is for end game, grade 16, level 50 up, you can use it, right? So when you have all this expensive rune, by the way, save it. Don't use it on the grade 25 because those are more for leveling rune words. And very soon you go beyond that and sort of just toss it away kind of thing. It helps you to level. So now what do I mean by that? So if you have any of these rune words, the Uru-forged, you can enhance it with the enchanter here. I hope you have already worked towards the max. If you're not, then I highly recommend you to keep donating item to max this guy because there's a lot of very nice rune words. So if you are new to this game, and the first thing I would highly recommend for any people, really, not just for the new players, for just for any players who have been playing this game for a long time, leveling hero, the only rune words you need is the sheer brilliance for leveling, right? So for example, you may have a hero like Ant-Man who does physical damage, so you may want to have use a Uru-forged with a physical damage effects to it, and then you add the runes to it. So after a while you get used to what all the runes are. You sort of remember which one is which. Kind of it become a language on its own. So now, why do I say that this is a very good rune words for any heroes that you level? Because it gives you the kind of XP per enemy defeat, which is very nice. It helps you to level a little bit faster. Intelligence as well, a little bit of crit, very highly desirable when you're low level, because low level usually your gear is so-so. And also XP as well for intelligence, and a little bit of help. Because sometimes your hero maybe feel a little bit fragile at the beginning, and 500 health at that level is actually pretty nice. And most importantly is the spirit regen as you pick up orbs, health orb, spirit orb, purple orb that are both health and spirit, as well as the XP orb that's green in color, XP orbs that's yellow in color. Anything you picked up regenerate 10 spirit, and that's very handy because when you are leveling a hero, usually you run into kind of spirit issue, and when you wait for a spirit to regen, it's a downtime. You do not want that. You want to just quickly get leveled up and do the end game, right? So that is something that I would highly recommend you. As in which Uru-forged shall you be using for your hero? So here's some tips for you to consider. Now, when it comes to this game is very complex. I love it because it's very complex, but yet it is kind of there's a clarity on why things are happening in certain ways. So every power that you see has a tag into it, like the orange, the title of the power, of course, is blue, tiny tick down. The orange one, the melee string, those are called tagging. So some of the items, some of the unique or whatever, if you said that plus 500 melee, then this power would get benefited, all right? So, and this power does what? Physical damage. So there's two type of tagging. One is on the power itself, another is what the damage type the power kind of deal. And not all the power deal only one type. There are scenario whereby for one power can deal both energy and physical components to it. So yeah, just read all these things. It's important to understand what exactly your hero does, all right? Although sometimes, for instance, if you play Ant-Man, he's very much a melee hero, right? Because he just keep punching and hitting and whatnot. But if you look through his power, at least the power that I pick, things like this, friends in low places, you look at it, physical damage per end swarm, right? So, but there's no melee tagging to it. Next one, Red Horse, also no melee tagging to it, but it's physical damage. So if you are to pick like all these things here, now this one has melee, this one has melee, but guess what? Ultimate, also there's no melee to it. So if you were to pick gearing, pick a melee kind of Uru-forged or any gear, rings or whatnot, legendary. If you pick melee, you're losing out a lot of DPS opportunity because your gear doesn't suit the power of your hero, right? So always observe the entire rotation of your hero, understand which one to use. So my recommendation always is so like for Ant-Man, of course, because he does both end as well as the melee on the tagging. So but because everything is physical damage, so I'll use this Uru-forged, right? But for other heroes, like for example, like X23, everything she does is actually melee. Even the signature is to buff the melee. So potentially, I could use the melee Uru-forged, right? But I don't. There's a reason to it, because I've seen enough in the past whereby Gazillion will review the hero, add a few new powers to it, and guess what? Some of the power no longer is melee. Like, give you an example, like Thing, for example. Suddenly there are more like range power to it. There are things like teammate power. There's neither range nor melee, but it's teammates, right? So all this power tagging will not benefit, if you were to pick a melee kind of like Uru-forged, as and when Gazillion changed the hero with the kind of like new power that either range or some bizarre kind of tagging, you will lose out on your DPS. So in as much as possible in this scenario, I always take the pure damage if I can, right? So when do you use this kind of like a Uru-forged? There are scenarios whereby, for example, if your hero is hybrid, like Cable does melee, mental and energy, or like Jean, mental and energy, you may want to pick something like this because it does the range, right? But for melee hero, I have a different strategy. I'll come to it when it comes to Runewords. But bear in mind that you could use this for your hybrid damage type hero. All right. So and for Uru-forged, like for instance, look at my Dr. Doom. Right, he does physical, mental, as well as energy, and he does both melee and range. So none of this really suits him. So in the end, may as well pick something like this to make him more durable. Anyway, I mean, he's pretty strong, so I don't need the extra 200 damage rating to it. Which some of you may want to ask, like, what is 200 damage rating? So in order to convert the damage rating to percentage, you divide by 40. All right, so damage rating divided by 40 will give you a percentage, so that would be 5% damage. Now, 5% damage doesn't mean that you suddenly have a kill time 5% faster, right? Because your hero is not only doing 100% normal damage, your hero is actually doing way more than that, because all these attribute, whatnot, all these like melee damage type that you have, all these melee damage type that you have, all these are added, addition to 100%. So your normal damage will be probably at the region of 300 to 400%, and then you add another 5% on top of it. Is actually not that as significant as you think it is. So it's just something for you to consider when it comes to all this number. What does that mean? All right. So I think enough of that. Now let's talk about the rune words itself. When it comes to rune words, I do have my own favorite list, but I'll run through everything with you so you can make the decision. Sometimes you are new to the game, you may not have the runes available to you, but fear not. You can always start your rune words with some kind of like cheaper rune words first, get it going, and then as you get new, better runes, then you can override your existing rune words. So with the runes that you have, the better runes you have. And normally, how do you decide which runes are more expensive? Because I think some of you may run into space issue or whatnot. So whenever you see a sale value like 10,000 credit, those are very rare runes. You either trade off or you keep it. All right. So don't sell it off to the vendor. Right, don't do that. There are runes like, for instance, this one, sale price 337 or 270. Then these are very common runes. So you will get all these things, along and so on. So after a while, you can derive, you can understand which are the one that you commonly use, which are not. So for example, for me, everything here is either very commonly used or very rare. So I keep it here. Anything above is sort of those are really common, but sort of I seldom use, right? So after a while, you get a hang of it, but there are plenty of runes to be collected in this game. It eats up a lot of inventory. Bear that in mind, all right? So when it comes to all these rune words, let me just walk you through very quickly and which one are my favorite. So this is a very, very nice rune word actually for melee and range hero, like, you know, Captain America, maybe, you know, Daredevil, or, you know, Moon Knight, or even Spider-Man if you does both range and melee. So it's a very cheap one as well, because these two runes are really cheap, like spear and bow runes are very, very commonly available. So you start with that, it's not bad. I mean, 200 damage rating added on top of another 200 damage rating, that's 10%, right? So yeah, that, you know, go for it. If you just start the game, or just like, you know, maybe that hero is sort of like, you know, you don't need that kind of, you don't need gear up to the end game, because you just play it for legendary quest, and you can use that as well. I mean, you know, don't throw the runes away, just give something to your hero. When it comes to this one, is that you know, again, I mean, it's one of those rune word whereby you could have it to give your hero a little bit more durable, but this day is not that you know, useful. But again, I mean, it depends on how many runes that you have collected. If you have this, use it first. All right. Beastmaster is good for summoners, but these are very expensive rune words because of the serpent rune. These do not come often. At least it's not that often. So, you know, consider this as quite a expensive one. And Beastmaster nowadays is eclipsed by the Dupe Inspiration. I'll tell you later. But it's one of the two rune words to be considered for the summoners. All right. So these are all very nice stats, because summoner damage as well as crit goes to some pets, by the way. And when it comes to Lunar Eclipse, it's a little bit of like a spirit regen kind of like you know, kind of mechanism. It doesn't really, I mean, all this because I don't believe in dodge and so on. So I wouldn't recommend this for spirit regen, but if you like to try it out, you could, but it's not something I would use at all. All right. This one I commonly use, again, is a very expensive rune, because a rune word, because it, you know, it takes up a serpent. A blood barrage is very nice for range and physical. There's a lot of heroes like that, range and physical, like maybe Winter Soldier, like Hawkeye, you know. You can name quite a number of them that are range and physical, pure range and physical, and nothing else, right? So although Winter Soldier, it can be melee / range, but my Winter Soldier is a range stealth, just example. When it comes to fire barrage, this is wonderful, because you know, these runes are so cheap. So, you know, compare this one and this one is just not fair, I think, right? So these runes are so cheap, and the and it's great for any energy and range hero, because it gives you the kind of like you know, like Invisible Woman, like you know, Storm. You know, you could use some of this. It's very, very commonly available. Add you another like 15% with the Uru-forged, so that's nice. Okay, Bone Breaker, also another quite common, quite economical kind of like a rune verse. This one I use it for my melee hero, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's either this one or another one I will show you later. But I mean, this one is something that you should consider as well. The material is pretty affordable. Courage of Asgard, really. I mean, you know, Odin rune is very, very hard to come by. So, and Thor as well, and Zood. I mean, woo. This one is very, very, you know, but I don't think I would ever want this one, because, I mean, these days, 100 crit hit and 100 brutal strike, yeah, it's not really a lot. Anyway, up to you. When it comes to Viking Gladiator, also, it requires crazy runes like Thor, and I don't think I would ever want to have that as well. I mean, you know, I probably have other things that's better. Fortune of the Lion. This one is, yeah, you saw my Ant-Man using it, because sometimes when I can't figure out what to use for my hero, just, you know, I wanted to try the gates without even figure out what to do with the hero. So yeah, I went in Ant-Man with this one. So it doesn't really matter. Get something is better than nothing. Talk about Seer Brilliance. Now this is a very, very desired, you know, desirable kind of rune verse, because it gives you the range damage rating and also gives you a crit as well, 300. So it's quite nice, with a couple of other things that you know, like you have a brutal strike for 3 seconds when you critically hit. So these are very, very nice. This is a very nice rune. Again, it's very rare. Not because of the Satan rune, Saturn rune, but also because of this rune here, which is very, very rare. I mean, I don't see this one coming along very often. So yeah, I mean, but it is a very, very nice rune word, something to consider for your ranged hero. All right, this one is the one that give you a little bit of like a health, spirit, and energy damage. So again, something to consider if you have an energy hero. It's not a bad one. I mean, it's actually pretty decent as well. And yeah, I mean, this rune is not that hard to get by. Now, this is a very nice rune words for the mental hero. But it requires something called the Serpent rune. Again, these are quite rare, and also this Ymir rune. But this one actually is quite common, so it's not a bad rune to use for the mental hero. I mean, these are quite nice. River of the Soul used to be my favorite, but nowadays with the Mad Kit regeneration of spirit, I seldom need this one. But however, if you need the extra spirit and the power duration and whatnot, gain 6 spirit when you hit. Now, I think this one is, I mean, you can test it out. I think there's an internal cooldown of 1 second. So yeah, but it will not solve your spirit issue, but it will help. All right, and the runes are very, very cheap as well. Heartbreaker, I mean, this is one of those that are also very, very, very highly desirable runes rune words because it gives you the very nice crit and brutal as well, but it requires you another of these tier runes. So yeah, I mean, these are very nice one, but how many of these runes do you have, right? I mean, every hero need all these things for, but yeah. This one I seldom use it anymore, and the Ultimate Guardian also it requires you with the Odin rune and the +2 to your ultimate. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's not something that I really fancy. Maybe for raiding, I don't know, but not me. God of Mischief is one of my favorite one. My X23 also has one. Why is it so great? Because it +1 to all power, which is like, a rune verse that does it. Wow, and the signature get another +1 as well. So, but do bear in mind though, sometimes when you look at your rank, sometimes with the unique this day you already hit 50. Rank 50. So, if your main spender and some of the common power already hit rank 50, do you really need another +1 to all power? So, save it for another hero whereby there's a gap to close if you need that +1 to all power. But this is a very, very nice rune word. So it's not that hard to get because especially during the cosmic chaos event whereby the boss drop double, and I do see more runes from all this stuff that I collect as well. So and some actually farm low key for it. So this one is actually pretty common. I mean, the great thing about it is that it's probably one of my favorite runes across all the rune words here, and it's quite achievable. I can't have it for all hero, but I can afford to spend a bit here and there. Right? So Vice Rune, in order to get these rune words, you need to farm low key. Only low key in storage mode drop this recipe. You can't learn it. You have to farm for it. That is a pain of it. But once you farm it, once is enough, right? Some have to keep doing it for hours, but you may get some low-key runes anyway. So do it during the Cosmic Chaos event. I don't know. People seem to have better luck there. Just ask around. All right. So when it comes to Vice drop from Kingpin. This recipe again cannot be learned, but you can get it from Kingpin as it drop. I mean, it seems that you require a lot of things like white suit jacket, ruby top cane, and Kingpin medallion and need room. But at the end of the day, all this, if you keep farming, actually all these come very, very often. So, I mean, I do have quite a lot of white suit jacket that's very bad rolls, but I do keep them because one day I may reroll it. And the ruby top cane is not really a nice unique, so you could use it to create Vice. So what exactly does Vice do? It does the thing that you see here now. Special item farm and rare item farm 25% is really nothing. So, and I mean, this actually allows you word, but anyway, it's there. Heroes of Asgard again is another very insane rune that you require the Thor rune as well. So something that you could just think about it. If you really need it, have it. But it's good for raiding. But I would not recommend this one for normal day-to-day use. That if you just play around your hero alone most of the time, then you don't really need that. But that is a very good rune word for raiding, hardcore raiding. All right, so Viking Vitality is yet another one that is a filler. If you don't have any of these nice rune words, then you may as well use this first. But it's not that great. Okay, Cow King's Gift. I think this is one of the event that has it. I don't know how to farm this anymore, or ever. I don't know whether achievement give this or not. But it used to be my favorite before the hybrid rune words comes on board, because you can see all these like 100 energy, mental, physical. That's not bad, right? I mean, and I used to like this a lot, but nowadays I seldom use it anymore. All Father's Fury, you learn it from if you go clear at Avenger Tower up north, they sell this as a recipe. So buy it using your day rune. All right. So All Father Fury on paper is very nice, but then again you need Odin rune. How many Odin runes do you have to get this one? Just a little bit more damage like this. I mean, it's one of those things that you keep saving the runes that you never know which hero to give to. Hammer of the God as well. I mean, you need Thor rune. Thor rune is not easy to come by. But it does quite nice if you play Thor. But then again, there are other things like the hybrid, recipe as well. So this one again, this one is you purchase from clear the vendor up north, the Avenger Tower, using the day rune. And the last one from the same vendor is Lady of the Sword, my absolute favorite. Because if you sum up all these numbers, it's actually pretty nice. If your hero does melee and physical, like maybe X23, might be like Hulk, or Think, you get plus 400 damage rating, and also on top of that, you regenerate health when you hit. So it's a little tiny kind of health, but still every bit helps. So this one is my favorite when it comes to Lady of Sword, and all this like a Sith rune is not that hard to come by. It does drop quite often. All right. Dupe Inspiration and Power Dupe are the two recipes you get from the event vendor using Brawl Stone. So go left or the Avenger Tower, you see Moon Dragon, and then after that you can use your Cosmic World Stone, and then after that you can then purchase these two recipes. These two is very nice. One is for summoner, one is for hybrid hero, or some actually use it for pure damage type hero. Up to you. But do your maths first before you commit that kind of like investment. When it comes to the dupe inspiration and power dupe, bear in mind that there's a range to it. So when you first create this rune words, then you may have a low kind of like affixes, and you have to keep creating another one and another one. For example, at power dupe, you may end up with quite a lot of bad kind of affixes. Like let me see if I can show it to you. Some of the thing, like for example, like this one here. The energy one is actually quite bad because the energy range is like a 1777, right? 4777 and 5777. So this one is actually not that great for the energy. But then guess what? Because some of them are just like mental, physical, like Ghost Rider. So it doesn't matter you have a bad roll on energy, you won't benefit from it. So that's why I always roll power dupe onto a defense Uru-forged, because I can use all these things to any hero, whereby even if some of them get a bad roll, it doesn't matter because I can still use it for other heroes. Like this one has a very nice actually this one has pretty nice for everything. But just an illustration to you, if this one weren't that great in the mental affixes, that's fine. I can use it for Iron Man, right? Because Iron Man doesn't do mental, it does energy and physical. So that's why I rolled quite a number of them as and when I've jumped through room, and then I picked the nice one for the hybrid hero. So that's why I always roll it onto a defense Uru-forged. Just my strategy to optimize the usage of it. Alright, so we are almost there. The last one is Unstoppable Force. This recipe dropped from Juggernaut, and the again, I mean, some say it's not great, but then think about it, right? I mean, it's plus 400 damage rating to your movement damage that is going to be physical anyway, and you have a crit as well. And then have all this whole bunch of affixes. And guess what? The material is very, very cheap. This is very, very easy to craft, and it does drop quite often, at least Juggernaut is a terminal whereby you can farm, unlike say Loki is not a terminal you can farm. So get one of these, and if you have a movement hero like Silver Server or even X23 or Juggernaut, just use this one. It's cheap and it's just built for them. Alright, so anyway, this is all that I have to share on the Uru-forged and the Runewords. As always, if you found this guide useful, there's a whole list of other guides as well. Just look at the description section of this video, and there's a link to all the updated guides. And feel free to browse, and whichever work for you, pick it up and let me know how it helps you as well, so that I can keep improving my guides. All right, see you next time. Bye.